Grüezi miteinander, ganz herzlich willkommen und einen wunderschönen guten Tag, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, liebe Freunde aus nah und fern. Ich begrüße Sie zu einer weiteren sehr speziellen Sondersendung von Weltwoche Daily, die andere Sicht, unabhängig, kritisch, gut gelaunt, aufgezeichnet am 9. Februar 2026. Und zwar auf Hawaii, auf der Insel Maui. Und ich sitze hier neben einer richtig gehenden Legende. Es ist eine Surfer-Legende. Und hier auf Maui ist ja das Surfen sozusagen erfunden worden. Und neben mir sitzt Josh Stone. Und Josh Stone ist ein Mann, der die Sportart des Windsurfens ganz maßgeblich geprägt hat. Er gewann zweimal den Weltmeistertitel. Er ist ein Innovator, sozusagen ein Michelangelo des Freestyle-Surfings. I said you are the Michelangelo of Freestyle Surfing.
Ich spreche wenig Deutsch.
Er versteht also, was ich sage. Und er hat heute, es ist der 8. Februar, er hat heute Geburtstag. Und das ist natürlich eine ganz spezielle Gelegenheit. So we are extremely grateful that we can have you on our program on your birthday. And we try to make it very efficient and short. And I said, I have to think, what can I ask a windsurf star who has become now a very successful, ist jetzt ein sehr erfolgreicher Immobilienunternehmer hier auf Maui. Er hat also den Übergang geschafft, the transition from the big waves of the sea to the big waves of business. And we are going to talk a bit about the life lessons of surfing. Wir reden über die Lebenslektionen des Surfens. Well, Josh, great. Thanks again for giving us your time. My first question, how is it, what's the most important survival rule in the waves?
The number one, first of all, aloha to everybody, and thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it very much. The first, most important thing in survival in the ocean is never, ever panic. Stay relaxed all the time. And I would say that translates very well into business because I heard that this is a transition from windsurf, surf into business. Always the same rule. Yeah. Never panic.
And on the surfboard, I guess the most important thing is keeping the balance, not getting out of balance. And how does that translate into your real life? Is that something you could take, you could take from surfing into your real life, the finding the balance on the board, finding the balance in life?
I really believe this is a very important thing for my wife and I in life, is that balance to me means finding the limit of your abilities and taking everything to the limit of your abilities, but also understanding that there is a limit to your abilities and appreciating that there's a line in the sand. In life, for my wife and I, one of the most important things for us was that we always realized, if you're a person that's super motivated, a person that always is looking forward, looking for goals, that sometimes it can completely take over your life. And I think it's very important sometimes for people like this to just say, this is enough. I call it modern day Buddhism because I'm not a Buddhist where I have no needs, because I have a lot of needs and I like a lot of things. So that's not Buddhist. But I believe that there's a point in your life where you have enough. And if you're able to draw a line in the sand and say, this is enough, this is what I need in my life, and stick to that, and not say, oh, I need more, then you can really have a very, very happy life. You can have a lot of success maybe when you're younger, and translate that into a very, very beautiful, enjoyable life for a long time.
Kurze Werbeunterbrechung. Wer kritisch denkt, soll auch kritisch wählen beim Smartphone und Tablet. Das Volaphone Quintus mit Vola OS verzichtet konsequent auf digitale Bevormundung, kein Konto, mehr Souveränität, weniger Ablenkung. Vola ist eine innovative Alternative zum Smartphone und Tablet, Mainstream, frei und Unabhängig. Mehr Informationen finden Sie unter vola.online. Ich wiederhole, vola.online, und Leser der Weltwoche erhalten auf alle Smartphones und Tablet einen exklusiven Rabatt von 5% mit dem Rabattcode Weltwoche5. Ich wiederhole, Weltwoche 5.
And I see you have a family. You have two daughters, right? Is that correct?
No, I have a son and a daughter.
Oh, I was wrong research.
But my daughter's going to love that you said that. My son is a military pilot. He's a badass, so he won't take offense. He's 28 years old, my son Harley. My daughter is 22 years old, my daughter Savannah. Harley went into flight because he wanted to fly, and in the military has the best planes to fly, so of course he went that direction.
And in surfing, you are always confronted with forces that are bigger than yourself. I mean, with huge waves that can kill you. I saw these famous beaches here. They are full of rocks and cliffs and everything. I mean, it's amazing. What does this teach you when you have to fight the forces of nature, the overpowering might of Mother Nature?
So you never fight it. That's the number one thing. You're not fighting Mother Nature. You're a part of Mother Nature. You become a part of it. If you fight it, you'll lose. You can never win because it's so much more powerful than you. But it's very important to understand that when you look at a challenge, when Mother Nature is being at the most extreme, it's so important to accept that you must be okay with the ultimate outcome, which means maybe you maybe you die. And it's interesting, came from my father to me, but once you understand that you can look at a huge wave or whatever, with that understanding that I might die, this is the worst outcome. And if you can accept this outcome, then you are able to focus and do what you need to do. And I think if you look at the best athletes in the world, the best extreme athletes that have gone so much further than me, they have this ability to micro-focus because they accept the worst outcome. And is death the worst? I mean, no. To me, death isn't the worst, honestly.
What has triggered you in your career as a surfer? Was it the risk that there are deadly risks there, or is it the flow, getting into that state of harmony, or how would you describe it?
The only time that I truly feel powerful, that I truly feel alive, that I truly feel like I'm at the best of who I can be, is when I'm in the ocean. When I have the power of the ocean. And it's not that I'm controlling or dominating the ocean or winning against the ocean. It's when I'm in sync, when I'm connecting.
This is the flow.
That's when everything, to me, I can only speak for myself, to me makes me feel the most powerful. In Hawaii, we call it mana. Like the mana is your power, your spiritual power, like your individual power. And the only time I ever truly feel powerful is when I'm connected perfectly and in sync perfectly with the ocean.
There is another experience I've read about in surfing. This is the wipeout. What is this exactly? This is when the wave takes you over, when you are somehow destroyed by the wave without dying. And could you explain that a little? What is a wipeout, and how is it? What does it teach you about life and everything?
I think the most important thing to understand about a wipeout is that it's a point in any surfer or waterman's life when they are held under the water, especially for more than they think their limit is. We all are raised here. Most of the people, not all, I mean, some people come here and they're phenomenal, but it's the moment in life when things look like you can't survive. And what's interesting about this moment is if you listen to every person before you, my father, my mentors, they always said, just be calm, just relax. And in these moments, if you truly are able to just stay calm, it's incredible how long you will survive. Much, much more than you think you can. And it translates into real life. We all have stress every single day, all of us. It doesn't matter what job you do. It doesn't matter who you are. We all are inundated in stress, especially in modern world. If you can take a little time to just relax and focus and know that you can survive, and it's amazing how much further you can go.
Is that something that the waves that the sport has taught you, or do you think this is something that your family, your whatever, your all over environment has taught you? Is this something you really took out of surfing?
I think that I learned this in surfing initially, with my father telling me, well, you have two choices, you live or you die. And so if you can't live with dying, then don't do it. But taking the extremeness of that into the business world, into just a natural world, I believe that every individual in the world has the same capacity to be bigger and stronger than they think they can be. They just need to believe in themselves.
Surfing and also windsurfing is considered, one can say, the epitome of freedom. You know, in the waves, you described it when you're in sync with the forces of nature. How would you define freedom outside of surfing, and where do you find this kind of freedom outside of the ocean?
Freedom is believing that nothing's impossible. Freedom is believing that you can do anything. And the truth is, you can do anything. There's nothing impossible. The only limit to your possibilities is in your own mind. Surfing and windsurfing on an extreme level, you learn that you can do much more than you thought. Otherwise, you would be dead. And I think with all extreme sports, I think with sports in general, that you learn, you can push yourself beyond your ability or your level. I really believe after all my travels in the world and spending so much time with a lot of wonderful people in the world, the biggest limitation that people have is themselves.
I mean, you have been surfing on world-class level for many, many years. You're still a world-class surfer. I mean, you can enter competitions and you win them. I think even last year you won a huge competition. And the question is, I mean, being top fit still, your age, we haven't talked about your age yet, but I mean, there comes a moment in life when you start to feel that your body is not 25 anymore. And even though if you're in great shape, as you are, obviously, you come to the moment where you think, where you see and you feel there is an end of the road. Can you say something about getting older as a world-class athlete?
Absolutely. I've really enjoyed getting older. You know, I think that appreciating aging is very important for the health of your life. I do have to, I'll be honest, I have to tone it down. I can't go mountain bike and chase a 30-year-old up a hill.
And can you accept this? Can you accept these physical limitations?
Yes. Because what I can't do on that level, let's say, I can do, say, on a mentorial level for the guy who's beating me up the hill. When you get older, you are not going to be as talented, as physically capable of achieving the levels that you were before. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You need to enjoy what you're able to do. And there's been so many injuries that I've had in my life that would have been end of sports injuries. And I just remember thinking when I recovered from these injuries, I'm just happy I can walk. I'm just happy I can swim. I'm just happy I can go surfing. I'm just happy if I'm lucky enough to even go windsurfing, because that's a hard sport.
And what is the highest wave that you have ever surfed on, by the way?
I don't know exactly the size, but it was big.
And to sum it all up, what is the most important lesson surfing has taught you about life and existence?
The most important thing that surfing taught me is when you go to do something, you do it 100% every single time. And if you're not ready to do that thing 100%, don't do it.
And what advice would you give people like me who have never spent one single second on a surfboard?
Get going. Get out there, because it's fun as shit and you're going to love it. And anybody out there who hasn't surfed, or hasn't windsurfed, or hasn't kite surfed, get out there and go, because it's beautiful. And the ocean is such a gorgeous, beautiful power in our world, and it will give you power just being there. So don't waste time. Go.
Josh, thanks a lot for this conversation on your birthday am 8. Februar 2026. Meine Damen und Herren, Josh Stone und die Lebenslektionen des Surfens hier bei Weltwoche Daily. Ganz herzlichen Dank für die Aufmerksamkeit. Einen schönen Tag und wir melden uns zurück. Surfing in the US of A. See you. Wieder schauen miteinander.
Entschuldigen Sie, bevor Sie dieses Video nun wegklicken, was Sie eben gesehen haben, diese Art von Journalismus, die gibt es eigentlich in dieser Form fast nicht mehr auf dieser Welt. Rede und Gegenrede, die andere Sicht beleuchten, das ist die Weltwoche, unabhängig, kritisch und ja, auch gut gelaunt, weil wir eben glauben, dass selbst in den schlimmsten Abgründen immer irgendwo ein Lichtblick liegt. Wir beleuchten, was andere weglassen. Wir sprechen mit jenen, mit denen sich sonst niemand zu unterhalten getraut. Wir schreiben, was ist. Abonnieren Sie daher die Weltwoche. Jedes Abo ist eine Liebeserklärung an die Meinungsvielfalt, denn unabhängiger Journalismus funktioniert eben nur mit unabhängig kritischen und vielleicht auch gut gelaunten Leser. Sie sind der Grund, warum wir machen können, was wir eben machen. Alle Abo-Optionen finden Sie auf unserer Website www.weltwoche.de, sowohl für Print als auch digital und maßgeschneidert auch für Deutschland. Und wenn Sie bereits Abonnent sind, dann möchte ich mich an dieser Stelle einfach mal bei Ihnen bedanken und wünsche Ihnen nun viel Vergnügen beim nächsten Video.